When looking through the comment sections of my videos, I tend to get a lot of great ideas from you guys sandwiched between all of the requests to continue the adventures of Abraham Lincoln. One such suggestion that caught my eye for just how out of left field it was is this idea from Diego Plays, who proposed the idea, can you beat Fallout New Vegas as Elvis? Now, while that is a sentence I never expected to say, I'll admit, I am curious. But most of you are probably wondering what such a run entails, or better yet, how will I attack people in this run? Well, I thought the same thing, but a quick Google search showed me that Elvis was in fact quite the gun collector, owning a whole bunch of pistols, as well as a shotgun and a machine gun. He was also quite proficient at karate, so I suppose hand-to-hand combat is also a viable strategy. One last thing to note before we begin, other than the very obvious homage to Elvis in the form of the Kings, New Vegas also has a few quests that are references to some of his songs and films. So, as an added bonus, I will need to do those to complete the run. Now, with all that out of the way, let's begin. Something a little different this time, I'm actually playing New Vegas via the backwards compatibility on my Series X. This is because the game got a decent sized upgrade a while back that increased the frame rate and I believe the stability as well, so I want to say it for myself. When it comes to the face, I really did try my best, but I'm fighting an uphill battle here with a 12-year-old character creator along with my lack of skill of using it. On the bright side, we aren't going to be looking at him a lot from the front, so it will be out of sight and hopefully out of mind. Special stats are fairly boring. I pondered for a while about what they should be, and in the end I just put the 5 extra points into charisma and left everything else at 5. Elvis was a fairly charismatic person that many people loved, and still love to this day, so I think it is quite fitting. Only issue is that the actual charisma stat is pretty much useless in New Vegas, as it just gives a little boost to its relevant skills. So, for the most part, I'll be playing as a relatively middle-of-the-road character. For tag skills, I take guns, speech, and unarmed. As mentioned previously, Elvis liked his guns and practiced karate, so that should explain unarmed and guns, and then of course speech for the same reason I wasted my points on charisma. Finally, for traits, for once I just choose nothing, as none of them really stood out as being all that useful this time around. After getting patched up, I don't even bother talking to the locals, and instead begin heading east to make a quick and somewhat safe journey to Freeside. I had the displeasure of having to put down a few coyotes with my 9mm pistol, but it's not like they were difficult, as after all, they ain't nothing but hound dogs. Taking the shortcut specifically through Black Mountain turned out to be a better idea for once, as the dead NCR soldier there had a revolver I could definitely get some use out of. Well, I say that, but in actuality I sold it along with a decent amount of my starting gear so that I could actually afford a revolver that was in a better condition, along with a good chunk of ammo for it. I worked some of that Presley charm to persuade my way into Mick's special guns, but sadly he currently doesn't have anything that I was looking for. If you're curious, I'm keeping my eyes open for a hunting shotgun, because like I said, Elvis had at least one shotgun, so I'll take what I can get. I put some of the guns to the test soon after as I get into a scuffle with some nearby thugs. The first thug goes down fairly fast, but for some reason I had the worst time trying to shoot his friend, even though he was standing still. I guess just because he owned a lot of guns doesn't necessarily mean he was good at using them. Well, after my bullets decide to eventually find him, I continue to clean up the streets by paying the king a visit and agreeing to help him with his problems. One part because this way I can join the Kings and I don't need to explain why that's something I need to do in this run, and also, the name of the quest, GI Blues, is an Elvis reference as it's both the name of a movie he starred in, as well as sharing the name with a song in said film. First off, I need to deal with Oris and figure out exactly what his deal is as a bodyguard. As I am the jack of all trades, master of none, I lack the basic medicine skill of 30 to examine the clearly not dead corpses, as well as the intelligence to call Oris out on the situation. Turns out, there's an easier way. If you just shoot the sleeping dead, they will pop right up and then you can turn the quest into the king with the same level of success had I actually passed the speech checks. I say easy, but with the attack on his men, Oris gets all shook up and puts a bullet straight into my head, killing me almost instantly. This leads to an interesting sight upon reloading, but the situation is easily fixed by letting Oris run on ahead, and then once he's out of earshot, I attack his men, and then I can report my findings to the king with my head still attached to my torso. The second part of the quest just involves me walking back and forward between the old Mormon fort and the Kings a few times to figure out why there are hostilities between the people of Freeside and the NCR. To save time while making these short trips, I also got the quest Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog, which is of course another quest that must be completed, but even better, it allows me to have Rex the Cyberdog as a companion. Back to GI Blues, after convincing the NCR to stand down thanks to talking with Julie Farkas prior, I can return one final time to the King, finishing the quest, and immediately redeeming the favour from him by asking to join the Kings. Now that I'm part of the Elvis hive mind, it's time to start heading towards Novak to set the second stage of quests into motion. The journey there is fairly quiet except for one moment where me and Rex got into a minor disagreement with some ants who were trying to share their burning love with us, which was fairly detrimental to our health. With the power of friendship and 10mm bullets, however, we were able to emerge victorious. Arriving in Novak, and I make a stop at the gift shop to purchase a red dot sight for my 10mm pistol, as well as procure that gun when nobody was looking. I then give the citizens of the town a warm welcome by having Boone kill the resident motel owner. That's right, I'm also bringing Boone along for this ride. This is because his companion quest, I Forgot to Remember to Forget, is in fact another song reference. Don't worry though, I made sure that Boone fits in with the rest of us. With Boone inducted into the cult of Elvis, it was time to head east so we could truly begin with all the side quests I would need to complete for this challenge. First on the chopping block was Return to Sender, and to start the quest I would need to reach Camp Forlorn Hope. That may sound simple, but truth be told, there are a fair amount of cazadores between us and the base. Now, I probably could have taken a longer, safer route there, but I was impatient, so now it was on me to deal with these devils in disguise. Things could have gone a lot worse, but thanks to our combined efforts, and Elvis's well-known ability to slow down time, we were able to cripple or kill any that flew our way. Arriving at the camp, I speak with Sergeant Reyes and begin the most tedious of quests. For those that are unaware, this task requires me to travel a sizable portion of the Mojave while I make my way to numerous ranger stations so they can upgrade their systems. Some of them thankfully are relatively close to Camp Forlorn Hope, such as Ranger Station Delta, which is less than a minute away. However, you also have ones such as Ranger Station Foxtrot that are about as west can be. Never mind Foxtrot though, I'm getting ahead of myself. After the short jog to Delta, I fast travel to the 188 trading post and head northeast to Ranger Station Alpha that is just round the corner from Boulder City. After Alpha, the next logical step is Bravo, as it is the closest, just being across the river. This is the same way I usually come to retrieve the bomber for the boomers, so I also make sure to mark that on the map now to save in the backtracking later. Unlike when helping the boomers though, I have to actually get pretty close to the lake clerks as I approach Bravo base. As I am wearing pretty much zilch in the way of armor, just one of their sonic blasts, or whatever you call them, is able to destroy about 3/4 of my health bar. Thanks to that gun, I'm able to take down one of the lake clerks, but I don't have the same luck with the others. Just when I thought I was about to become crab food, a nearby cazador joined the fray and caught the attention of the lake clerks, which gave me just enough time to scurry away. I'm not out of the metaphorical woods just yet though, as more cazadors, not sure how many as I didn't want to turn around and look, began to chase me down. Luckily, they technically cannot fly over large gaps, so once I made my way up and over this ridge, I was out of their field of death. From there, it's a safe walk to Bravo, and now it's up to me to tackle the next station of my choice. I figured Charlie would be a safe bet as it's right down the street from Novak, and by this point it hasn't been attacked by the Legion, so it's a stress-free encounter overall. Now, because I have the attention span of a goldfish when it comes to questing, I got momentarily sidetracked as I followed the road from Charlie all the way back to Nipton. We ran into a few snags along the way in the form of Viper gunslingers, but seeing how I'm pushing level 7 and this area is meant to be tackled at the lowest of levels, we were able to kill them no problem. The reason I'm even bothering to come back to Nipton is that to access Boone's loyalty mission, I need to accumulate what the wiki calls 5 history points with him. The quickest way to get 3 of these points in less than 10 minutes is for us to return to Nipton, where we show Vault Base just how much better bullets are than sticks and chainsaws, which gets us 1 point. Then, chatting with boxcars and following up on the booted quest nets us another 2 history points so long as we actually manage to rescue the powder gangers that the Legion have taken hostage, which, by the way, we do, and it was incredibly easy. The last 2 points can be gained by murdering Caesar, but before we do that, I need to finish up Return to Sender. Coincidentally, Ranger Station Echo is a stone's throw away from where we currently are, so that's handy. With Echo upgraded, all that's left is Foxtrot, and as mentioned briefly before, it's pretty far west, just outside of Jacobstown to be exact. I committed the cardinal sin of New Vegas here by trying to head straight to my destination when I should have known better by now. This of course has me running across an entire family of cazadors that want nothing more than to eat me and my friends. At first things were going well, until they weren't, and then it was just me left standing to deal with these flying menaces. Once more, the strategy of crippling them rather than immediately going for the kill proved to work much better, as they are pretty much useless when they can't fly towards you like overly aggressive bumblebees. That said, it wasn't long before I was overwhelmed and made a tactical retreat to a nearby shack that just happened to be Brewer's Beer bootlegging. Inside, I was able to find a good amount of healing supplies along with a decent number of weapons and ammo. Sadly, none of them I can use given the fact I don't think Elvis had access to a sniper rifle or C4. After a brief rest in the shack, me and my newly revived companions made our way back outside, where the ever-persistent cazadors were still waiting for us. I tried to fight my way through them, but in the end there were just far too many of them, and I died. Next attempt, I just swallowed my pride and decided to take the safer approach by following the road up to Jacobstown. I may have also had Boone vent our frustrations on some nearby Bighorner. After Boone's Bighorner massacre of 2281, we find our way to Ranger Station Foxtrot and are able to hand over the final set of upgrades. Before I go back to Camp Forlorn Hope to start the final part of the quest, I instead walk the 20 feet to Jacobstown so that I can progress the Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog quest by talking with Dr. Henry. As I have already been to Novak a few times at this point, I decided to just purchase Ray's brain from Old Lady Gibson. Besides, in my opinion it's the best dog brain as the attack increase for Rex is pretty good. After the brain transplant is successful and the mission is complete, I return to Camp Hope where, believe it or not, I have to fast travel back to 3 of the stations I just visited to check on some new reports. Not wanting to waste your time the way the game wasted mine, after fast traveling around I learned that Chief Hanlon at Camp Golf has been falsifying reports, and when I go to confront him about it, he locks the door and kills himself. On the bright side, Elvis gets a brand new Ranger Sequoia. Oh, and the quest is now complete. Before heroically assaulting Cottonwood Cove or dying in a blaze of glory, I decided to pay Prim a quick visit as by now I had funneled enough points into the lockpicking skill to get lucky from the safe at the hotel. I am currently level 10 and armed to the teeth with decorative albeit deadly pistols, so in other words, the level 2 escaped convicts may as well be trying to tickle me. That gun is able to cut a path through the hotel until I can claim my reward, and I immediately put it to good use in the room right before Beagle, and as you can probably imagine, heads did indeed roll, or explode, whatever they preferred. I then rescued Beagle for no reason before deciding now was the best time to head for the cove. I've done this suicide mission enough times by this point that you would think I would understand the concept of needing to take cover and protect my innards, but it would seem I am as reckless as ever and need to attempt this more than a few times. Lucky proved to be just okay against the Legion's troops. To be fair, it works a lot better when you're built around a critical hit build, and I am most certainly not that. In other words, it was back to that gun to pick up the slack, despite it also being a weapon that functions better the higher the crit chance. I do channel a small part of the 16th President as I managed to properly free some of the nearby slaves from the Legion's captivity, and by that, I mean I actually defused their collars for once, which is something I usually forget to do. After the last of the Legion are wiped out, I go to board the raft before I met with the realization that I have yet to progress the story to the point where I get the Mark of Caesar, as I'm not able to travel up the river. It's not all bad news as I managed to get a bunch of 44 magnums from the corpses of the Legion, which I will either put to good use as weapons, or I will turn into free money, who knows. Speaking of money, I sell the fancy melee weapons and armour I got from the Legion at the Gunrunners to push me just over the 2000 cap threshold, rendering me not poor enough to freely enter the strip. Being the charismatic devil that Elvis is, I easily convinced Swank of my intentions, and after having the quickest of chats with Yes Man, have Swank set Benny up in his room for the easiest assassination I have ever taken part in. I'm not kidding either, like I am very clearly not hidden, but despite the fact he shot me, Benny appears to be the one suffering from some sort of brain damage as he doesn't acknowledge me in the slightest. Regardless, one lucky shot takes him out, I get a new pistol, and now that I have the Mark, I can truly wipe Caesar off the face of the Mojave. Thankfully, Cottonwood Cove is still a barren wasteland apart from the new ferryman, but he quickly joins his brothers after I put Maria to good use. Entering the heart of the fort and I decide it's time to get serious and bust out the Ranger Sequoia. You may consider this a waste of ammo given how hard it can be to find, but considering the likelihood of me using the gun again anytime soon is fairly low, I want to get as much use out of it as humanly possible. This is easily the best gun I have acquired yet, and it's not even close. Even without a critical, it can take most of the legionaries down in one shot, 2 at most. I am on normal difficulty as usual by the way, just in case anyone is wondering. Sure, Rex and Boone do help out as well, but this would have been more than doable solo. I won't pretend like the assault went flawlessly however, I did get shot and killed during VATS on my first attempt, which took me by surprise. Fighting in Caesar's tent is a death sentence, so I do the safe trick of luring them outside and picking them off one by one as they leave. I got stupid lucky as I somehow pulled off 2 back-to-back crits on the first 2 guards, leading to 2 very handy one-shots. When the main man appears, I plant 1 bullet in his head immediately, and then disarm him before turning my focus on Lucius, who surprisingly takes a fair few shots in the revolver before going down. Not that it matters much, they're dead, we're alive, and Boone is ready to face his demons now that I've accumulated the right amount of history points. When me and Boone arrive at Bitter Springs, we go to take a friendship nap but are suddenly approached by a Legion raiding party. Like anything involving Boone, it's just a matter of hunting down legionaries until the game says stop. Seeing how we are coming off the back of wiping out the Legion's literal main base of operations in Vegas, this whole encounter is over before you know it. Making things even easier is the fact that we sort of have support from the NCR at Bitter Springs, as the Legion kept spawning in the camp itself rather than outside where me and Boone were. Once the quest is completed, Boone is able to somewhat come to terms with his past, which is good, but he also gets a new outfit that while effective means he won't wear his King's uniform anymore, which is bad. Boone's terrible fashion sense aside, that's the last of the Elvis themed quests, so it's on to the main story. Given the firepower at my disposal, I don't think this is going to take very long. Achieving peace with the boomers takes a little more legwork than usual. Killing the ants is a lot faster with my arsenal of weapons, yes, but as of now I have yet to put a single point into repair or medicine, so I can't help the injured boomers, and I need to make a stop off at Helios 1 to grab the spare parts. At least for the latter, my increased rep with the NCR allows me to get into the facility guilt-free, and I can quickly retrieve the panels I need. Because I hate tedious back and forth, I ignore Jack's cries for help in his loveless life, and instead hang out with Pete and even ask him a few of the extra questions about the boomers for once, so that I can get just enough extra fame to access the bomber retrieval part of the quest. As mentioned before, I already have the plane's location, so one fun game of trying not to drown later, and the boomers are ready to be conscripted. Lovely. Next up is dealing with the kings. While I could just tell Crocker that the violence can't be helped as I use my one wish from the Elvis genie to make me part of the gang, I instead go the extra mile and kill Pacer. This is because he's kind of an ass and not worthy of the title of Elvis impersonator. On my way to report my success, I also made a pit stop in the Lucky 38, where I just sort of strolled up and killed the most powerful man in the desert, so yay me. This moves me on up to the Hoover Dam Missions, and right before making the journey, I paid the gunrunners one more visit, and sure enough, they finally had it in stock. The hunting shotgun. I don't think I can describe just how much time this gun saved me in this run. They say Elvis only had one shotgun, and if it was anywhere near as effective as this, I think I can understand why. My first task for the NCR is to get rid of the Great Cans. Now you may think that sounds a bit violent for Elvis, but I have a counter-argument. Did you know that Elvis was in fact part of the army for a time? Why is this important? Well, you see...
Good soldiers follow orders.
This killing spree also extends to the Omertas, but it's not as bad with them as the game gives you good karma for that particular murder spree, so it can't be all that bad, right? Besides, it doesn't even take much to persuade the NCR that they weren't a threat to them anyway. Now, as for the Brotherhood, well, I tried to fight them, I really did, but in the end, my blue suede shoes will not protect me from laser and ghost rifles no matter what. So, I go along with their games by convincing the NCR Ranger to leave peacefully, and then, once their guard is down, I slip the cards from their pockets and make a run for the exit, only suffering a major death on 2 occasions. At this stage of the game, all that's left is preventing Kimball's assassination and the Battle of the Dam, but before that can happen, there is one last loose end to tie up. A single Elvis reference that I have yet to obtain. It is none other than the King's outfit, aptly named Viva Las Vegas. Now, I could probably try some reverse pickpocketing tricks to get him to wear something else and then just steal the outfit from him, but no. The way I see it, this is a long time coming. There can only be one king of rock and roll, and that's Elvis. All of these pretenders must be wiped out. And so that is exactly what I did. With the Order 66 vibes getting stronger by the second, I took out the would-be king in a single shot, donned my rightful attire, and then started the purification as I began to wipe out all of the kings from the face of New Vegas. Once again, the shotgun proved to be more than capable of dispensing swift justice, as it cut down all the pompadours in my path with ruthless efficiency. After I was certain that all kings in and outside were gone, I returned to the main quest and began to protect the president. Truth be told, this was the easiest this quest has ever been. In fact, I technically did it as a pacifist, as while I was waiting in the sniper tower for the Legion sniper to appear, the NCR sniper got the jump on the assassin and killed him before he could do anything. The same thing goes with the fake engineer, as while he may have killed one of the Rangers, he gets taken down by someone else before I even had a chance to think about shooting him. With that, Kimball was saved and I moved on to the final mission. Now, I don't want this to seem anticlimactic, but due to me picking up perks like Shotgun Surgeon and Stay Back, I was able to inflict an insane amount of damage on the Legion soldiers, all the while either keeping them at a distance or knocking them down for my NCR allies to pick off. Also, considering most of the high-ranking Legion are also equipped with hunting shotguns and 12 gauge rounds, I was never in a position to run out of ammo. In fact, I think I actually finished the game with more ammo than what I started with. If the shotgun didn't make things easy enough, an Eldritch Abomination even came to the aid of the NCR. Twice. What I am trying to say is when it came time to confront the Legate, I didn't even bother talking to him and instead loaded my fire rounds and just fired shot after shot after shot until he got knocked down, burnt, and then died. After easily outgunning the last of his troops, I made doubly sure he was dead, and only once I was certain, I approached the gate, conversed with Oliver, getting a badly timed level up, finishing the game, and proving yes, you can indeed beat Fallout New Vegas as Elvis. I'm not really sure what to say here. Was the run easy? Yeah, definitely, especially after getting the Ranger Sequoia and especially after buying the hunting shotgun. That being said, I don't really think that's the point of these character-based runs. It's more so about what dumb antics I get into along the way. So thanks once again to Diego Plays for the suggestion. It was a super fun run to record. Regardless, that's going to be in this challenge video. If you enjoyed what you saw, consider giving the video a like, and if you're interested in more challenges in the future, feel free to subscribe. Try to have one of these videos out every week. My name's Nerbit, stay safe everyone, I'll see you all in the next video.